Hey, so I've got something to tell you. What happened last week?
I'll be matching a bit too much on the colours.
Hey?
You in pink and me in orange.
I know.
Anyway, carry on.
Is it a contrast?
I'm not sure.
Look,
Well, you're pink to go in your pink chair. I should have really worn blue.
I'm probably going to blend in.
So it's just his head and pair of jeans. Yeah, well.
Okay, but I actually want to talk to you about something. Well, you already know about what happened.
What, because we just talked about it just now, so I'm fully aware of what the content of this podcast is going to be.
Yes, okay. So
Go on then. Tell me what it is.
Well, I think I have a problem.
Okay.
Do you think I have a problem?
Which one are we actually going to talk about? Because we've talked about a few problems in the last little while.
So this one is the problem where I think that I can drive without fuel in my car.
So I don't think that is the problem. I think that is a symptom of a wider thing of, I think, just not being organized, and how much can you push something until it pushes back?
Yes, that is the story of my life. Boundaries, pushing boundaries, and then regretting it.
So this story is the second occurrence in 4 months.
Yes.
4 months where my darling wife has called me at a certain time of day, generally school run time when you got kids in the car, right?
Worst, yeah.
Yeah, the worst, and the traffic is the absolute worst. And you've called me, and in a panic, I ran out of fuel. What do I do? I'm stuck.
Help.
What do I do? I've got to get the kids to soccer in 10 minutes.
Yeah, they missed soccer that day.
Yes, indeed.
Oops.
So, and generally what happens then is that, I do the right thing. I leave work because I'm at work still. I jump in the car. I have to go get a jerry can worth of fuel from the local servo, the petrol station. Fill that up. Find out where the hell you're ditched somewhere on the side of the road. Or worst case, like last week, was on the roundabout,
Yes.
A big, large roundabout, very, very busy roundabout, and you are now parked on the roundabout.
Okay, well, let's just stop you.
Children running around on the roundabouts.
Let's stop you right there.
Vehicles stopping to see if the children are okay because they're running around the roundabout.
Okay, well, now you've given up the whole story. The end.
Yes, no, you don't get off that easy. So what the case was, so this is the second time now I've had to go and repeat the exact same process because we don't have the time for me to come all the way home to get the can I bought last time. I have to go buy another can and fill it up to the closest petrol stations to where I am. And then, unfortunately, I had to drive, 50 minutes?
Took you an hour. Took you long enough.
Well, I stopped for lunch on the way.
Felt like it. It was so embarrassing, though. I do remember driving on. I was leaving work, obviously, really busy. I leave earlier than what I really should be at work, which is, so I'm like racing off, leaving my last class and off to go and get the kids. Poor kids are waiting under their tree, waiting for mum, who's always late, picking them up under the tree. And I think, okay, well, I don't want them, they're waiting long enough. I don't want to go and stop and get petrol. I'm sure I'll be fine.
But they may have to wait longer, though, if you don't get petrol for me to turn up with a petrol can.
And I actually completely forgot. So I sort of looked at it and I was like, nah, it'll be fine. And I could not believe it. It was the biggest roundabout and it was right outside their school. So the traffic is just banked up and it's all just that one school. And there's only one way out. So it's every single car is from that school. And my poor kids, the roundabout's like this huge roundabout and I could feel it. And I only just made it onto the side of the roundabout. The back end of my car was just sort of...
So you would have been, you got to the junction of the roundabout, you would have been absolutely on hopes and dreams and fuels and good intentions just to try and get across the street.
Hopes and dreams has served me fairly well in a lot of other times. But yes, I think, I definitely pushed that. I actually nearly did it the very next day again.
Yeah, because I only put
Because
10.
I forgot to fill the car up after you filled it up with a jerry can.
I put 10 litres in the car. That's as big as the can was. And I knew for a fact you ain't going to go and stop at the petrol station in the morning and then fill it up the whole way, or even put $100 in, nothing like that.
Yeah.
You would just push that again.
Yeah.
Never learning from the experience.
I ran on empty again, and that you couldn't even see how. And I thought, God, what's wrong with me?
Yeah. So that's another conversation as well.
But
what I've started doing is on all the jerry cans that we've now purchased to
You're putting the
save
date.
you, put the date.
Have you actually?
Yeah.
It's hilarious. You used to put the date on every time you got to come and save me.
I only had one petrol can when I met you. Now I've got 4.
Oh, but it was just so funny. So we're sitting in the car and it's like so busy around this roundabout. And I'm thinking, you know what? We can't sit here and wait for you. You're going to be a long time. And someone might actually, because the car's not quite off the road, someone might nick us. We're going to have to get out.
Yeah.
Trying to get off that roundabout, and it was so busy. It was just
not
an option.
They don't normally have crossings into the middle of a roundabout, do they, where people stop and will let you go? Because it's not a usual thing for that to happen.
No. So, I don't know. We got out of the car, but we had nowhere to go, and we didn't want everyone seeing us, so we sort of crouched down trying to hide behind the car. I was just cracking up. It was so funny, but it was so mortifying at the same time.
Yeah.
And the poor kids are just like, Mom, everyone's going to see us. And this roundabout's just beautiful because they make it look, they've got all these sort of natural bush and stuff in the middle with rocks and everything. And I just said to the girls, I'll just go and run into the middle of the roundabout and hide in the bushes.
Oh, God.
So there was a truck. It was a really good Samaritan. I remember I was talking to you on the phone and you're like, oh, hasn't a good Samaritan stopped to help you, the damsel in distress? No. But it started quieting down. So after about 20 minutes, I'm like, we actually can get off this roundabout now. Girls, get out of the bushes, come to me. And we just quickly sort of crossed the it was dangerous, but crossed this roundabout. And
it's very dangerous roundabout.
Yeah. When we got to the other end, this big truck and these tradie guys, they pulled up right behind my car in the middle of the roundabout. Really nice. And they actually were like, oh, we need to go and help this lady that her child was crying and she's running after him. So they had this whole narrative of what they thought they saw.
I'd love to know what they actually thought they saw, whether these kids are running completely free around this roundabout in the middle of school rush traffic, peak hour traffic.
So embarrassing.
Their mother is nowhere to be seen. There's a car ditched with all the doors wide open and probably the boot up too. I'd love to know what people are actually thinking.
I'm
surprised I didn't hear about it on the radio when I was driving down.
Felt like that though. They actually, so I waved and I waved. I'm like, it's me. And I made my kids wait on the side of the road and I crossed again and went into the roundabout and I explained to them, I was like, no, we were just really mortified about the experience and they just wanted to hide from all their school friends. But yeah, they were great. They just helped me push it actually off the road, which was really nice. And I said, oh, you're coming with fuel, so we'll be fine. Thank you so much. But that was really kind. It's nice to know that there are people out there that would stop.
Yeah.
I don't know, like how you stop on the in the middle of a roundabout. That was very difficult.
Yeah. Well, I've had car issues. Well, I've had like a tire blowout on the East Coast when like no one's really around, and some elderly woman on a push bike has stopped to help me.
You.
I'm like, oh, I'll be right, love. Don't worry.
It makes sense. A damsel in distress getting saved, but yeah.
You know, there was a guy in my 30s at the time, and
there's an old lady
rescued by an old lady on a bicycle.
That's funny.
It's a bit emasculating.
Imagine if you're like, oh yes, could you change my tire for me, please?
Well, I'd never done it before. When I was.
Well, you're British.
I was a bit like you, right? So I have a very similar story. So one of my cars before I met you, I had a little Ford Focus, and I probably needed to get the tires replaced a year and a half before I actually did, and they were racing slicks. Like on F1 cars, they were that bald. You know, there was nothing to them at all. And I was driving around, and I had this tire. I had to pump it up every week because it would just go flat. And I was like, I didn't have the money to replace 4 tires, so I just had to leave it. And I was driving 100 down this highway, 100 k's an hour down this highway.
On ball tires.
On ball tires, and I went around the corner, and the whole thing just exploded on me. And it just felt like someone had a rock underneath my tire, and I couldn't do the steering wheel. I had this big loud noise, and I pulled over on the side of the road. And I'm like, okay, I'll get out and inspect and think, all right, okay, I reckon I can do this. I've got a jack somewhere. I think I know how to use it. And I had to get out on the side of the car, and then I jacked up the whole car as high as I needed it to go, thinking, right, that's good. And I thought, oh, if I've got to undo the wheel nuts, the car's going to fall off the jack. So I'm like, oh, okay. I had to quick get my phone out, Google how to change a tire. My dad's never taught me how to change a wheel on the car before. At least I don't think he has. Then I realized that, okay, the car's got to be on the floor to actually undo the nuts because the weight will keep it from coming off the jack. So you'd undo the nuts first. Then you lift the car up and then you can take the wheel off.
Yeah.
So I had to learn as I went. And this lovely old lady, she did stop to try and help. I'm like, no, I think I've Googled it. I'm fine.
Well, Dr. Google again.
Flex my muscles. Big guy here. I'm fine. Dr. Google it. And finally got it done, and drove home on a little get me home wheel, the little bicycle tire that they included. At least you had one. Cars. At least you wouldn't have had one, would you?
Oh. I wouldn't even know where to look.
No, well, I've done the wheel on your car before.
When you were saying, so your experience has come in very handy.
If anyone has a flat tire I'm not in a rush and I'm not wearing nice clothes to get to work, then I'm happy to stop and share that knowledge.
Be a good Samaritan.
Yeah. Stop and say, Google it, and you gotta undo the wheel nuts when the car's on the ground, and then jack it up after so you can take the wheel off.
What I want to know is, what is a normal amount of times in a lifetime to run out of petrol?
Well, I'm not sure you can look at it that way. I think, how many times can you push an experience
until you learn
to that level before the universe says, nah, you've had enough now. This ain't happening anymore.
I feel like it's like 4 or 5 times that I've done this.
Well, I've had a bad experience running out of petrol as well. So I've always been pretty good, right? I have a rule that, you know what, if you're getting low, fill up on the way home.
Yeah.
You got time. If you leave it to the morning, you're rushing, you got to drop the kids off at school, you're 5 minutes late, you haven't got enough time.
It's all about it's being organised, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. So I'll always do it at night time, or if I know I've got to get fuel, I will.
I have a level of forgetfulness though, because I actually, on the way to school, I remember I saw it and I was like, "Oh, I've got to fill up," and then as soon as I looked away, I literally forgot about it. I didn't think about it again. So it's just, how do you forget? I had to be reminded.
Just comes down to being organised.
Yeah.
And you got to think about this sort of stuff. Yeah. But I even parked. I had a splash of fuel in the car, enough to get 50 k's or whatever, get me home. So I wasn't too worried about it. But I had to park at a local beach, and one of the hills was like this, only space I could get, and of course gravity comes into that. So there wasn't enough fuel to go down the plug.
That's happened to me too. Yeah.
Start the car up, and I'm thinking, this should be fine, and it's just completely just trying to tick over. It's got no fuel and it won't start, and I had to call the RACT, the local tow truck out with $20 of fuel just to get me working again. But that's pretty embarrassing when that happens, especially being an organised person.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say being a man.
Yeah, being a man.
But that's what I really mean.
Being a man.
It's embarrassing as a man to ask for help about something that you should be taking care of. It was embarrassing. Isn't
that the whole thing of why can't men ask for directions? What's the problem with that?
Well, it's a matter of personal pride. Definitely has to be. Yeah. I've got some other answers that I won't put on the podcast about what it really means. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a matter of pride, and we don't like asking, right? It's like we think that I don't know if anyone's the same, but if I need to take something back to a store, it's the wrong size or it's broken or whatever, you know what? I think they're going to go absolutely mad at me. They're going to laugh at me. They're going to take me out of the store. So you know what? That's your job. You take it back for me.
I have to do all of that.
you got to return it, and I know everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that I'd rather pass that responsibility on to someone else.
Okay, well, you can just continue to rescue me when I run out of petrol.
No, so what we're going to do, we're going to fill up one of the cans of fuel and just leave that in the back of the car and just hope that we don't get any really hot days.
Gross. No, I wish that I could say that that's not going to happen again, but it might. But I'll try my absolute best for that to not happen. But it was pretty embarrassing going back to work the next day, and I talked about it in the lunchroom. And one of the ladies actually said, "Oh, was that you?"
Yeah. Where we live is a very small place, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is. Yes, that was me. So, yes, the moral of the story is don't think that you can run a car on no fuel. It doesn't work.
I think the moral of the story really should be is that just think about things and be organized and give yourself plenty of time to get something done.
Easier said than done.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.